Artificial intelligence is shaking up pretty much every field out there, and qualitative research, which is all about understanding human experience and meaning, is definitely no exception. But this isn't just a simple story of a new tool making things a little bit easier. Nope. This is about a field standing at a major crossroads, asking some really fundamental questions about its own future. Okay, let's get into it. And this is really the heart of the whole debate, right? You've got these two paths. On one side, you have augmentation, where AI is basically a superpowered assistant, making the human researcher even better at their craft. But then you have the other path, automation, which is this much more controversial idea that AI could one day just take over, making the human interpreter kind of obsolete. So that's the big tension we're going to dig into. All right, so here's our game plan for figuring this out. We're going to walk through 6 key areas. First, we'll look at why the field is so divided. Then we'll see the incredible promise of AI's efficiency, but right after that, we'll uncover its pretty dangerous blind spots. From there, we'll see the rules people are creating to keep it in check, explore the deeper human-machine divide, and finally, see where the consensus is landing. So, first up, a field at a crossroads. And this gets kind of philosophical, right? The big question is, can a machine that's just really, really good at finding patterns ever truly replace the deeply human act of making meaning? And let me tell you, the academic community is seriously split on this. But if you look at all the research that's out there so far, a pretty clear frontrunner has emerged. The overwhelming consensus in the scholarly world is that AI should be seen as a tool to help us, to augment our skills, not as a machine to flat out replace the human analyst. That's the big takeaway. And now we're going to break down exactly why that is. All right, let's move on to why this is even a debate in the first place. Section 2, the incredible promise of efficiency. I mean, the performance gains we're talking about for certain tasks, they're not just big, they are absolutely staggering. I mean, just think about the speed for a second. One study found that ChatGPT could pull out 10 major themes from a big research project in under 30 seconds. A task that would normally take a team of humans weeks, maybe even months, done in the time it takes to make a cup of coffee. That is an absolute game changer. And it's not just about being fast, it's also about accuracy, at least for some things. So when researchers tested GPT-4 on what they call coding reliability, which is basically just how consistently it sorts data, the results were, well, pretty impressive. On 8 out of 9 categories, it showed excellent or substantial agreement with human experts. That's getting really close to human-level performance. Okay, but all that speed and efficiency, it definitely comes at a cost. Which brings us to Section 3, the peril of blind spots. Because where AI messes up, it tends to mess up in big, systematic ways that can have really serious consequences. And this is where we run into a huge problem. A major study of commercial AI transcription tools found something pretty shocking. The error rate for African American speakers was nearly double that of white speakers. Look, this isn't some small glitch. This is a massive, systemic bias baked right into the technology, and it comes directly from the data it was trained on. And then, on top of those performance gaps, there's this problem of, depth. One researcher put it perfectly, saying an AI's summary of an interview felt like just spark notes. It gets the what, the basic facts, but it completely misses the how and the why. All that rich, nuanced human detail that qualitative research is supposed to be all about, gone. And this all leads to a really sharp critique. The argument is that these AI models are often just stochastic parrots. It's a great phrase. It means they're brilliant mimics, able to string words together in a way that sounds totally plausible, but with absolutely zero real understanding of the meaning behind any of it. So, because of this big critique, this idea that the AI doesn't really get it, the research community isn't just jumping on the bandwagon. No, they're doing what they do best. Which leads us to part 4, how they're trying to build some guardrails for this powerful new tool. So you're starting to see these frameworks pop up, like this one called GAITA, Guided AI Thematic Analysis. And the key thing here, the really crucial part, is that at every single step of the way, the human researcher is always in the driver's seat. They're the intellectual leader making all the important calls. The AI, it's just the assistant along for the ride. And it's not just researchers. The big-time gatekeepers of science, the publishers, are laying down some pretty firm rules. The Committee on Publication Ethics says, flat out, an AI cannot be an author. Big medical journals like JAMA are demanding full disclosure. And the journal Science? They've gone for a complete ban on AI-generated text, and they'll treat it like scientific misconduct if you break that rule. Okay, so this brings us to some of the deeper, more, philosophical worries about what happens when we start outsourcing our thinking to machines. This is the human-machine divide. One of the biggest concerns is this idea called de-skilling, and it's pretty straightforward. The fear is that the more we lean on technology to do the hard stuff for us, the more we forget how to do it ourselves. We lose those essential skills. And for researchers, especially younger ones, the worry is they might never develop those deep analytical muscles you only get from really wrestling with the data yourself. And listen, this isn't just some abstract theoretical worry. There's real-world proof. A study in medicine found something that's, frankly, kind of shocking. Doctors who trained using an AI tool to help them spot polyps, they actually performed worse once the AI was taken away. Their detection rate dropped by a lot. It's solid evidence that relying too much on AI can actually make our own expertise wither away. Beyond all that, for some types of research, AI is it's a bad fit. It's fundamentally incompatible with the whole point of the study. Like in phenomenology, which is about lived experience, the researcher has to set aside their own biases, and AI can't do that. In ethnography, you need deep cultural immersion. A machine can't do that either. And in critical analysis, you're looking for hidden power dynamics, something AI just isn't built to understand. Okay, so after weighing all of that, the incredible promise, the really serious perils, the deep philosophical questions, where does that leave us? Where does the research community land? Well, that brings us to our conclusion. Augmentation, not automation. So we're back where we started, at that fork in the road. And the verdict from the academic world? It's pretty darn clear. The winning approach, hands down, is augmentation, using AI as a powerful partner that makes us better at what we do, while the human researcher always has the final say. The losing approach is automation, a dangerous substitute that actually threatens the quality and the ethics of the research itself. So what this all boils down to is a set of guiding principles for using AI responsibly. First, human oversight is absolutely essential. You have to document everything: what AI you used, what prompts you gave it. Anything the AI does has to be double-checked by a human. And this last one's a biggie. You have to get consent from your participants and let them know their data might be seen by an AI. And that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. The consensus today is clear, sure, but this technology is moving at a breakneck pace. As these systems get smarter and smarter, that line between a helpful assistant and a total replacement, it could get pretty blurry. So the real challenge for the future is, how are we going to protect and value the uniquely human art of interpretation?